Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Nuti from Italy.
What if that $40,000 Hermes Birkin bag you're proudly showing off wasn't actually made in a serene Paris workshop like you believed? What if it didn't even originate from France? That's the shocking revelation from a viral TikTok, and it's sending shockwaves through the luxury fashion world.
Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step.
The video is unveiling one of the industry's most tightly held secrets, and once you discover what's really happening behind the scenes at Hermes, your perception of Birkins, and any made in France tag, will never be the same.
This Birkin bag at Hermes boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost?
The controversy began with a single 60-second video filmed in what looked like a busy factory in Guangzhou, China. In the footage, a worker nonchalantly held up a seemingly perfect Hermes Birkin bag. He then dropped a bombshell. This bag costs about $1,400 to make. You're paying $40,000 just for the logo. That line set the internet ablaze. Within hours, comments flooded platforms like TikTok and X, with people in disbelief. Have we been scammed all along? Where did the promise of French craftsmanship go? The carefully built image of exclusive, European-made luxury began to crumble instantly. And the impact wasn't just online. As the video spread, it rocked the fashion world. Hermes' stock price reportedly dropped as investors grew wary. What was once a symbol of high society was now being seen as nothing more than a marketing trick with an enormous price tag. Here's where the story takes a turn that's both complex and honestly pretty shocking. Technically speaking, Hermes isn't being dishonest about the materials they use. That ultra-luxurious, velvety Togo calfskin? It's still being sourced from trusted Italian tanneries, just as the brand claims. The premium stainless steel used in the bag's hardware? That's still imported directly from France. So yes, on the surface, the luxury credentials seem legitimate. But what Hermes doesn't spell out is where those high-end components are actually turned into finished handbags. According to multiple sources familiar with the process, those materials are shipped off to Chinese factories, where trained artisans, following Hermes' exact instructions, cut, stitch, and fully assemble the bags. Once completed, the bags are sent back to Europe and given the coveted Made in France label. One factory worker summed it up plainly. We build them using Hermes' original designs, right down to the last stitch. The only thing missing? The logo. It's a murky legal area, and it's sparking a major crisis of confidence among loyal customers. Let's take a closer look at what it really costs to make a high-end Hermes Birkin bag. Because once you break down the numbers, it's easy to see why so many buyers feel misled. Starting with the premium calfskin leather, you're looking at roughly $450 per bag. Then there's the specialized French linen thread used in the stitching process, which adds another $25. The sleek, custom-engineered metal hardware? That clocks in at about $150. Lastly, you have labor expenses, typically outsourced to expert workers in Chinese factories, which come to approximately $600. All in, that brings the total production cost to just about $1,400. But when that same bag hits the shelves in luxury boutiques, the price tag skyrockets to $40,000 or more. Nearly 38 times its cost to produce. So what are shoppers actually paying for? One former Hermes employee put it bluntly, you're not buying a product. You're buying a fantasy, the illusion of old-world craftsmanship and elite status that Hermes has carefully sold for generations. Now that this illusion is unraveling, longtime fans are feeling deceived. As one TikTok commenter angrily put it, I didn't shell out $40,000 for a mass-produced item. I paid for legacy, not a repackaged good dressed up as French luxury. At this moment, social media has become a war zone. And the prime target? Hermes. Influencers who once flaunted their Birkins as ultimate status symbols are now publicly disowning them. Some even recording dramatic videos of themselves cutting the bags apart in defiance. The comment sections are exploding with rage and disbelief. Users are flooding platforms like TikTok and Instagram with calls of, "This is outright fraud," and demands, "When's the class action suit happening?" But it's not a one-sided conversation. A counter-argument is gaining traction, too. Some users are questioning the outrage, saying, does it really matter where it's made if the quality holds up? The debate has sparked a much deeper question across the internet. What truly defines luxury? Is it centuries-old craftsmanship and authenticity? Or is it simply a label attached to an expensive object? As the discourse intensifies, Hermes is staying conspicuously quiet. Instead of issuing statements, they've opted to remove critical comments, leave direct messages unanswered, and dodge press inquiries. Their latest Instagram update offers no hint of the storm, just a serene photo of a vintage-looking Parisian workshop, paired with the understated caption, "Crafted with passion since 1837. But for many viewers, that nostalgic phrase now feels more like a punchline than a promise. Sometimes, silence can make a louder statement than any official announcement. And right now, Hermes' complete lack of response is deafening. As wave after wave of viral allegations crash across the internet, the iconic luxury house has chosen to stay mum. No denials. No clarifications. Not even a press release. But is this an act of arrogance, or a calculated legal maneuver? According to legal experts, it might be the latter. The risk of saying the wrong thing could have devastating consequences. Here's why. French law imposes strict standards for what qualifies as made in France. At least 45% of a product's total value must come from labor performed within France in order for that label to be legally applied. If it turns out that most of the production, especially final assembly, is actually happening in factories overseas, particularly in China, then Hermes could be in serious legal jeopardy. We're not just talking about misleading branding. This could amount to widespread consumer fraud. And the legal fallout has already begun. In the US, regulators in California have launched an investigation into the matter. Meanwhile, a prominent attorney went viral with a bold warning. This isn't just a marketing scandal. If the claims prove true, Hermes could be looking at billions in lawsuits and possibly the end of the brand as we know it. The pressure is mounting by the hour. And with each passing day of silence, Hermes risks watching its legendary reputation unravel thread by thread. The situation has officially gone from tense to full-blown chaos. Over the last several days, major luxury resale sites like The Real, Fashion File, and Vestiaire Collective have been hit with an overwhelming surge of Birkin bag listings. Just weeks ago, the resale game heavily favored sellers. But now? The tables have turned dramatically. Prices for once in-demand models are plummeting in real time, with some pieces going for 30% less than they would have fetched just weeks earlier. Behind closed doors, authenticators are scrambling. One source admitted, "Our whole authentication system relies on origin labeling. If we can't confidently stand behind a Made in France claim, what do we have left?" The uncertainty is creating a nightmare for serious collectors. In one private luxury fashion group, a distraught buyer wrote, "I've poured over $200,000 into Birkins. What if they're just overpriced imports? Have I been duped?" Meanwhile, overseas manufacturers are capitalizing on the fallout. Factories in China are now offering unbranded Birkins for $1,500, a fraction of the retail cost. These alternatives are made from the same Italian leather, follow identical stitching patterns, and mirror Hermes' exact dimensions. The only missing piece? That trademark Hermes stamp. And strangely enough, these no-logo versions are finding a customer base. As one experienced reseller put it, why spend years on a waitlist when you can get virtually the same bag in a week? The resale market is teetering, and nobody knows just how far it might fall. What happens next for luxury fashion? Because let's not sugarcoat it, this isn't a minor scandal. It's a defining moment. The Hermes controversy has done more than dent one brand's image. It's exposed a crack running through the foundation of the entire industry. High fashion now stands at a pivotal junction. The rules of prestige are being rewritten, largely by younger consumers, especially Gen Z. They're not seduced by marble boutiques or whispered exclusivity. What they demand is authenticity. They care about where their goods are made, how they're made, and who gets exploited along the way. That's exactly why labels like Stella McCartney are gaining traction, by making ethics part of their aesthetic. From plant-based leathers to fully traceable supply chains, they market honesty, not illusion. Hermes, meanwhile, seems to be retreating into the comfort of its old mythology. A leaked memo reportedly urged employees to lean harder into legacy storytelling, and to remind the public of the Parisian dream. But there's the catch. Dreams don't hold up when facts start surfacing. And in a hyper-connected world where receipts are a click away, fantasy unravels fast. One tweet summed up the backlash with chilling clarity. Luxury was never about price, it was about trust. And Hermes just torched it. If the brand doesn't evolve with the moment, it may not just lose relevance, it could disappear from the cultural conversation altogether. Here's the million-dollar question. Can Hermes survive this reckoning? Or are we watching the slow unraveling of a fashion dynasty? What's happening right now isn't just a PR mess for one elite label. It's a flashpoint for the entire luxury sector. For decades, luxury was built on the allure of European craftsmanship, scarcity, and silent opulence. But that narrative is shifting fast. In today's market, it's no longer just about where something is produced. It's about what it stands for. Meaning is the new metric. Honesty is the new flex. And realness? That's what truly commands respect now. So we're putting the question to you. Would you still shell out $40,000 for a Birkin knowing it was assembled overseas, even if the quality's impeccable? Or has the illusion officially shattered? Is the Hermes magic just another high-end fantasy we've finally stopped believing in? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We want to hear where you stand. And if this deep dive blew your mind, brace yourself. Because next, we're exposing secrets that could rock the luxury watch industry. Trust us, you haven't seen anything yet. Tap that subscribe button so you don't miss what's ticking under the surface.